Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. Today we will be doing a review of Queen of Tears episode 10 and also be talking about some future episodes as well, what is happening, what is going to happen and review all of that. So without wasting any further time, let's get right into it. So as we already know that the episode 10 in the last episode that just came out like a few hours ago, we saw at the end of the episode 8, that Hong Hae's family, they lost all their wealth and their companies and their status in society thanks to Sol Hee and Hyun Sung. And so Hyun Woo, he has actually rescued them and he takes them to his hometown, and they awkwardly get along with Hyun Woo's family, and Hain feels uncomfortable talking to Hyun Woo about his help and continues to do everything that he can for her. And on the other hand, we saw that Yoon Sung, on the other hand, makes his decision to go against Sohee and decides to keep Hain in his side. He also finds out about his medical condition and he goes berserk. To bring the ball to his court, he hides the chairman from Sohee. The episode ends with Yoon Sung meeting Hae in the end the episode. I mean, you can also see the episode playing in the background as well, on the TV. In order to avoid copyright, we have to do that, take precautionary measures and all that. And so the episode ends with Yoon Sung meeting Hae outside Hyunwoo's house. Um, I mean, yeah, uh, getting into further details. So as we already know, the episode began with Seo Chul ending up at Hyunwoo's brother's gym. He meets up with his brother, who tells him about Hyunwoo's ability as a boxer and his past, and he was shocked at discovering Hyunwoo's elusive past. Seo Chul looks dumbfounded, and Hyunwoo fights the broker and wins against three gangsters. He gave the broker legal notice and gets him arrested. And we moved on, back to the ending scene of the previous episode where Hain comes across Yoon Seung. And he tells her about, his condition and how, he wants to help her live. He needs to be her guardian, to be by her side, which is really important. He also threatened us to come back to Queen Group and live with him, and he will also tell his parents about her condition. He gives her 2 days to make her decision, while Seochul sees him and goes to fight him and falls to the floor instead. He asks him about Dae, but Yoon Sung just goes smirk and asks him to walk away. Who was actually Hyun Woo's brother, and he walks back home, and decides not to talk about the interaction, while Solchi protests her crazy, scary gaze and shuts him up instead. And as we move along the episode, we see Hyun Woo finally reaches home, and Hain sees his beat up state. She takes him to the room and demands to see all his injuries. She hilariously just took off his shirt, and he got nervous. She asks him about what happened and how he got injured in the first place, and she asks him about to promise that he will run away next time instead of getting himself beat up. But he does not make that promise. And she threatens him that if he gets beaten up again, she will be the one to kill him. The next day, Sochul tries to tell Hyun about Yoon Suk, but Hain walks in to stop him. Hyun Woo and Hain spent some time together, and they were talking about what ifs, like what if they worked on the wounds they received during their marriage and would it change them and whatnot. And Hain just decides to say that it would have been way better if they never got married in the first place, which is actually pretty crazy if you talk about it. And they were also talking about, like, he also expressed his regrets about how he handled their marriage and leaving them feeling with intense emotions. And in the next scene, Hyunwoo finds out that, as we remember from the resign due to malpractice, Yoon Sung meets him and tells him about his meeting with Hain, making Hyunwoo feel jealous. But Hyunwoo hits back with an encounter with the broker, cracking Yoon Sung's cool facade. And Grace Go meets with Sol Hee, which later calls her that will fulfill her demands if she can find the chairman without Hyun Sung knowing, told by the money, and she gets to it. And as we see in the later parts of the episode, they began to look for chairman, making sure Grayskull keeps her mouth shut. Suchel, on the other hand, got very obsessive talking about Dahi, and when he remembers that the online game they would have played as a couple, he waits for her to come online when messages her regarding their son's vaccination routines. Then becomes emotional and social gestures that cares for. And on the other hand, we saw that Haynes' mother becomes frustrated by the village ladies who insinuated that she will be poor for a while. She goes to a cafe to cool off but realizes that she cannot pay for her drink. Right then, Hyunwoo's mother pays for her and gets her to work at the pear farm. After the day of hard work, Haynes' mother eats more than usual and sleeps without her sleep medication. And in the night, the fathers bond over losing their kingdoms. Hyunwoo's father has a village, and Haynes' father. I mean, it's quite a full circle moment if you really think about it. They drank together and they watch a drama that has cables, and Hyunwoo's father learns about the rich person's lifestyle and how they have been people around them to remain in their top condition. Hayne finds out. I mean, guys, it's just that the fall off of the Queen family, it has taken the internet by storm. Like everyone is talking about, how there have been all these scenes and all these different instances, and how the fall off is just made everything a lot more ironic in that sense. And the strange couple met in the night, and Hyunwoo expressed his frustration over Yoonsek's demands and as well as Hain's compliance. He tries to make her understand, but she coldly draws a line between them, making him feel bad. The next day, Hyunwoo's mother overhears Hain's conversation regarding her treatment and immediately asks Hyunwoo about that. He was emotionally struck and explains everything to her and her request to take care of Hain when he was not around. He also tells his initial reaction, making her mad, the behavior regarding his actions. He cries in front of her while she feels bad for Hain. She cooks up a feast for Hain to make sure Hain eats later. And Hain also leaves for Seoul when her mother stops and accuses of her looking out for herself. Feeling hurt, she resigns to indifference, but Hyunwoo's mother comes in and, she actually decides to drop off to her get a taxi in her tractor. And Hyunwoo also catches up to them, and Hain keeps a toxic expression, telling him coldly that she's making her own decisions from now on and she no longer needs his help anymore. Frustrated at Hain's demands and Yoonsek's smug expression, Hyunwoo is literally rendered speechless before the conference, and individual briefs them about the announcements. Hain's return and their marriage announcement as well. They came in front of a dozen reporters, and Yoon begins with a cocky speech about being longtime friends with Hain as well as his plans for the Queen Group's future. Hyunwoo listens on with tears in his eyes. It was really, really sad. It was such an emotional moment as we all remember that. To see your ex getting married to someone else, and on the top of that, we already know that she is terminally ill. Justin Hyunwoo leaves dejectedly. Hain changes her posture and reveals the threats made to Hyunwoo about Yoon-sung. And shocked at her move, Yoon-sung tries to stop at her, but she continues. She also reveals her medical condition, citing as reason for not to return as a Queen Department CEO in the future. And on top of that, there's a silent emotional moment. The epilogue gives us two scenes. The first scene is from their dating days, where Hain shouts at him for showing his cute and lovable drunk side to other women, and she demands that she will only be drunk around her. No other woman can see him like that. They share a very sweet moment when they were together and a young couple in love. The second scene in the present time, where Hyunwoo drunkenly comes in front of Hain's room, where he pulls leaves from a stem to see if she likes him. It ends with her liking him, and he drunkenly confesses that she may like him, but he really loves her. At the time, Hain listens from the other side of the door and feels dumbfounded at his sudden confession. And I mean, the episode, it did give us a lot of lovely moments shared between Hyunwoo and Hain. Hyunwoo and Hain finally had a conversation regarding their behavior as a married couple, I think, which is very important going forward into the later episodes as well. I mean, even though not a lot changed, from the last episode, but I think it's definitely a positive sign, as they're finally communicating, they're finally getting on good terms, and Hyunwoo also got to see how much Hain loves and cares for him, I think, which is really important. And the way she actually carries the ointments and the band-aids, and the way she carries all of that, I think it's just a reminder of how she thinks of him. Hain also shown in the last few scenes, she showed Yoon-sung the true dragon of the Queen Group with her calculated move, and she actually showed him who the boss is. And while Yoon Sung may love for her or care for her, all he knows is to get things through deceit, making him the villain in the story, as we already know. We hope to see Hain and Hyun fight Yoon Sung and show him his place, and we're all hoping for that. I think episode 11 would be, opening with a lot of more drama, a lot more love moments between Hae-in as well as Baekhyun Woo, and maybe they will finally team together and fight Hyun Sung and try to get the possession back of the Queen's group and show them that they're really good team together. And I think that's really important. And I mean, yeah, we can't wait for the next episode. I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a bummer that we have to wait almost 6 days, next Saturday for the next episode. But yeah, I think that is it for this episode. A lot of people, I'm seeing a lot of tweets right now on Twitter. A lot of people were talking about how this episode went. You know, discussing the different moments, but I don't think there was a lot to discuss in this episode. It was quite a bit of a smooth ride, not a lot of ups and downs and roller coasters. But, as we move on to the later episodes, I think, we will, both Baekhyun Woo as well as Song In will be making a comeback as a couple, as a, as a team, and try to take back the possession of the Queen's department, of the Queen's group. And that will be really, really interesting to see as well. And yeah, I will see you in the next video, in the next explanation. And that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one.